Imagine you're living in the 19th century, somewhere in the American South. The night is silent except for the distant rustling of leaves in the wind. You're an enslaved person, tired from a lifetime of forced labor, yet your mind is focused on one thing: freedom. You've heard whispers about a secret network, a hidden pathway leading north where freedom awaits. But how do you find it? There are no maps, no written instructions, just coded messages, hidden signals, and an intricate system of secret technology designed to help you escape. The Underground Railroad wasn't just a series of safe houses or a group of brave abolitionists. It was a sophisticated network that relied on advanced, covert innovations. Many think of technology as something mechanical or electronic, but in the Underground Railroad, technology meant a series of ingenious survival tactics, encryption techniques, and creative uses of everyday objects to communicate and navigate toward freedom. Today, we often credit modern encryption and cybersecurity as advanced forms of secrecy, but the Underground Railroad was using its own version of this long before computers ever existed. One of the most fascinating aspects of this system was the use of quilts. At first glance, these were just simple blankets, beautifully stitched with patterns. But to those who knew how to read them, they were roadmaps to freedom. Specific patterns held secret messages. The drunkard's path pattern, for example, indicated that a journey should be made in a zigzag motion to evade slave catchers. The log cabin quilt, with a black center, signified a safe house nearby. These quilts were often displayed on porches or windowsills, appearing as harmless decorations while silently guiding people toward safety. Beyond the quilts, another unexpected form of technology came in the form of song. Music was a vital part of enslaved life, a way to express sorrow, hope, and perseverance. But some songs carried deeper meanings. Spirituals like "Follow the Drinking Gourd" were more than just hymns. They were encoded directions. The drinking gourd referred to the Big Dipper constellation, which pointed to the North Star, the ultimate guide to freedom. Lyrics like "The Old Man is Awaiting" referred to guides like Harriet Tubman, who helped lead the way. Singing. These songs in the field seemed innocent, yet they held the key to escape. Speaking of Harriet Tubman, her methods for navigating without detection were incredibly advanced for her time. She used natural survivalist techniques, studying the terrain, understanding which plants were edible, and even using moss on trees to determine direction. At night, she used the stars, and during the day she observed the way rivers flowed to stay oriented. But Tubman also employed an early form of counterintelligence. She would spread false information about escape routes, misleading those who pursued her. If she suspected a betrayal, she would alter her route at the last minute, keeping even her own allies unaware of the full plan until the moment was right. The Underground Railroad also relied heavily on secret communication. In a world where reading and writing were often forbidden for enslaved people, messages had to be passed in other ways. One technique involved lantern signals. A lantern in a certain window position, or with a specific colored cloth draped over, it could indicate when it was safe to travel. Another method was through coded letters and symbols, sometimes hidden in everyday conversations. A phrase like "the friend of a friend" was a way of identifying someone as part of the Underground Railroad network. Perhaps one of the most overlooked technological feats of the Underground Railroad was its use of secret compartments and escape routes built into homes. Abolitionists who ran safe houses often modified their homes, creating hidden rooms, false walls, and trapdoors. Some even built underground tunnels beneath barns and homes, ensuring that fugitives could disappear instantly if danger approached. Many of these escape methods required collaboration with free black communities, Native American tribes, and even sympathetic white allies who helped construct these hidden technologies. The ingenuity of these solutions wasn't just about escaping, it was about outsmarting an entire system designed to keep people enslaved. The Underground Railroad was, in many ways, a precursor to modern covert operations, intelligence networks, and encryption techniques. The reliance on symbols, misdirection, and coded messages mirrors the way modern cyber warfare and espionage function today. Even without access to formal education or resources, those seeking freedom used innovation, and resilience to build a system that defied one of the most oppressive structures in American history. While the quilts, songs, and hidden compartments of the Underground Railroad were ingenious, the technological innovations didn't stop there. The network also relied on an early form of what we might call biometric security today. Personal identification methods that ensured safe passage while preventing infiltration by slave catchers or informants. This was crucial because the success of an escape depended on trust. Those escaping couldn't afford to be misled by someone pretending to help, nor could the abolitionists sheltering them risk being exposed. One of the most common security measures was the use of prearranged questions and responses, an early version of password authentication. When an escaping individual approached a supposed safe house, they wouldn't simply knock and ask for help. Instead, they would use coded phrases or questions to which the house's owner or an Underground Railroad agent would need to respond, with the correct counterphrase. If the response was incorrect, it was an immediate sign of danger. This system functioned much like modern-day two-factor authentication, where access is only granted if both pieces of information match. Another layer of security involved forged documents and disguises, which required both skill and careful planning. Free papers, documents proving that an individual was legally free, were often stolen, replicated, or forged to help escapees travel without suspicion. Some abolitionists, particularly those in the North with legal or clerical knowledge, created remarkably convincing forgeries. These weren't crude imitations, but carefully crafted papers that mimicked official documents. The process of faking freedom papers mirrors modern-day efforts in cybersecurity to create decoy credentials to confuse hackers or unauthorized users. Beyond paperwork, disguises played a critical role. While some fugitives posed as laborers or travelers, others took on more elaborate identities. One of the most famous examples was William and Ellen Craft, a married couple who escaped from Georgia using a brilliant disguise. Ellen, who was of mixed racial heritage and could pass as white, dressed as a wealthy white man, while her husband, William, posed as her enslaved servant. This reversal of roles allowed them to travel openly on trains and steamboats without suspicion. Their method of deception required an intricate understanding of social hierarchies, racial perceptions, and behavioral mimicry. Techniques still used today in intelligence and undercover operations. But moving through cities and across state lines wasn't enough. The Underground Railroad also had to solve one of the biggest logistical challenges: food and resource distribution. Fugitives couldn't simply walk into a store and buy supplies. They had to rely on secret stockpiles placed along their route. Abolitionists and free black communities devised methods to ensure these supplies were available at just the right moments. Some hid food inside barrels marked as other goods, while others buried supplies near key landmarks, ensuring that escaping individuals could access them at night without being detected. These caches functioned much like modern-day dead drops used in espionage, where intelligence agents leave messages or supplies in prearranged hidden locations for others to retrieve. Another critical innovation was the strategic use of maritime routes. Many people assumed that all escapees traveled north on foot, but in reality, a significant number used ships. The Underground Railroad extended to docks and ports, where black sailors and sympathetic ship captains smuggled people aboard vessels, heading to free states or even Canada. Some hiding spots were built directly into the hulls of ships, while others disguised escapees as crew members or cargo. This method was highly effective because it bypassed land patrols and bounty hunters, who primarily focused on roads and border crossings. The use of maritime escape routes reveals another remarkable aspect of the Underground Railroad's technological ingenuity: the use of African knowledge and navigation skills. Many enslaved Africans had deep knowledge of astronomy, ocean currents, and weather patterns, which helped them navigate both land and sea routes. Some escapees even built their own rafts or canoes, using techniques passed down from African traditions. This blending of indigenous African and European navigational knowledge created a hidden maritime network that few outside of the Underground Railroad ever suspected. Despite these advances, the network constantly had to evolve. Slave catchers and government authorities were always trying to uncover its secrets. Whenever a method became too well known, the Underground Railroad had to adapt. This adaptability is another hallmark of technological innovation. Much like cybersecurity experts today, who must continually update encryption methods to outsmart hackers, Underground Railroad conductors modified signals, routes, and techniques to stay ahead of those who sought to dismantle their efforts. Even newspapers of the time inadvertently played a role in helping or hindering the Underground Railroad's operations. While many Southern newspapers ran advertisements for runaway slaves, detailing their physical descriptions and potential escape routes, some abolitionist papers in the North used coded language to communicate news about successful escapes or upcoming safe passages. These publications sometimes printed seemingly innocent messages like, "A friend from the South has safely arrived and is seeking employment," which, to those in the know, signaled that someone had successfully escaped and was being sheltered. 2. Underground Railroad's hidden technological innovations were a testament to human ingenuity under the most oppressive conditions. This network, created without formal infrastructure, functioned as one of the most efficient and resilient systems of covert resistance in American history. It showed that technology is not always about machines or electricity. It's about problem-solving, adaptation, and the clever use of available resources to overcome seemingly impossible challenges. The ingenuity of the Underground Railroad extended beyond just escape methods. It also relied on one of the most powerful tools in human history: communication networks. Unlike modern encrypted messages or digital communications, the Underground Railroad's operators used oral codes, symbolic language, and even musical cues to convey critical information without being detected. These systems were an early form of steganography, hiding messages in plain sight, much like how modern cybersecurity experts embed data within images or files to evade detection. One of the most famous methods was the use of spirituals, or coded songs. These were not just religious hymns. They were carefully constructed messages designed to help fugitives navigate toward freedom. Songs like "Wade in the Water" advised escapees to travel through rivers and streams to throw off the scent of tracking dogs. "Follow the Drinking Gourd" was a direct reference to the Big Dipper constellation, which pointed to the North Star, guiding them to safety. The lyrics in these songs provided instructions disguised as religious praise, making it nearly impossible for slaveholders to detect their true purpose. Beyond music, seemingly ordinary objects contained hidden messages. Quilts, for example, were sometimes stitched with patterns that indicated safe houses, dangers ahead, or the best routes to take. While some historians debate the extent of the quilt code theory, there is evidence that textile patterns, particularly geometric designs, were used as a form of discrete communication. A specific arrangement of squares and triangles could serve as a signal to those who understood the code, much like modern-day QR codes or barcodes hold digital information that can be scanned and interpreted. Written codes were also used, but they had to be extremely subtle to avoid detection. Letters between abolitionists often contained innocuous phrases that, to the trained eye, conveyed hidden meanings. Some messages were written in invisible ink made from lemon juice or milk. When heated, the writing would appear. This method, commonly associated with espionage, was a valuable tool for keeping Underground Railroad operations secret. In addition to secret messages, the Underground Railroad relied on advanced logistical planning. Safe houses had to be stocked with food, clothing, and medical supplies while maintaining secrecy. Many safe houses had hidden compartments, false walls, and even underground tunnels where fugitives could hide. Some abolitionists designed furniture with secret compartments large enough to conceal a person, while others built entire sections of their homes dedicated to hiding escapees. These innovations required a deep understanding of architecture, carpentry, and misdirection, skills that parallel modern efforts in secure facility design and hidden storage technology. Transportation was another critical component. While walking was the most common method of travel, fugitives also used wagons with hidden compartments. False bottoms in carts allowed people to lie hidden beneath layers of hay or goods. Some carriages were specially modified with secret spaces large enough for multiple people to hide undetected. These techniques bear striking similarities to modern-day smuggling methods used to transport sensitive materials or evade surveillance. Water routes provided an additional escape option. The Great Lakes and rivers like the Ohio and Mississippi played key roles in moving people northward. Steamboats, canoes, and rafts were used to traverse waterways, often with the help of black sailors and dock workers who knew how to navigate these routes without drawing attention. These maritime escapes required not only navigational knowledge, but also an understanding of tides, currents, and safe landing points, skills that mirror modern military and intelligence strategies for covert movement. As the Underground Railroad became more effective, those seeking to stop it developed countermeasures. The Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 drastically increased the risks for both escapees and those assisting them. This forced the Underground Railroad to innovate even further. Routes had to be changed more frequently, and new codes had to be developed to avoid detection. The network expanded beyond the United States, with Canada becoming a major destination for freedom seekers. Entire communities, such as those in Ontario, were established to provide long-term refuge. Despite the immense risks, the Underground Railroad persisted because it was not just a collection of individuals. It was a highly adaptive, decentralized network built on trust, technology, and strategy. It demonstrated that even in the face of oppression, human innovation could create pathways to freedom. The lessons learned from its operations are still relevant today. From cybersecurity to covert communications, many of the techniques developed by the Underground Railroad continue to inspire modern strategies for secrecy, resistance, and survival. The legacy of the Underground Railroad's hidden technological innovations is a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. It reminds us that technology is not just about machines and devices. It is about problem-solving, creativity, and the determination to overcome obstacles. The same spirit of innovation that fueled the Underground Railroad lives on in today's advancements in secure communication, strategic planning, and clandestine operations. Understanding this history allows us to appreciate not just the courage of those who escaped, but the brilliance of the systems that made their freedom possible.